Okay, well, hello again. As you can see, my third and final variation of the Mamenchisaurus has arrived from Everything Dinosaur. I highly recommend Everything Dinosaur. Have a great variety of different models and from all different companies. Always extremely reliable. I'm sure anybody in the UK will know who they are. I believe they send them abroad. They send abroad anyway. So that arrived this morning. So I'm just going to get this one out of the box. This is the green variation. For this particular model, they only did the 3. Let's have a look. I think this one has actually been opened. They did say it come without the original wrapping paper. It does look like it has been opened, but it's absolutely perfect condition. And this is the green version. So again, the detail. I think I clicked it on that one for the detail, and you can see all the scales and the folds in the skin and the way the colours blend. And you know, there's certain things, and I don't think I showed you the eye last time, but look at the detail in the eye. It really is very good indeed. But the paint applications is just second to none. If we go down, you've got the little scoots, and again the skin folds, and the attention to detail. And what makes a good model is, you know, obviously the mould, the mould itself obviously has to be nicely detailed, but the paint application is so important. I think that's what makes the model. And now I have all 3 variations now. I made 3 variations of this. You have the bluer version, the green version, and the brown version. God, now if I had to say a favourite, my God, I don't know. What do you guys say? I really couldn't call this one on these particular figures. I think they're all exceptional, absolutely incredible figures. I really couldn't call it. They're all as nice as they're all as good as each other, and they're all kind of realistic looking. I don't think any of them have been painted in outrageous colours, so any one of them could be feasible as, you know, this is the colour they may have been. I don't think anything is completely unreasonable. Maybe this is a bit too blue, for it to be realistic, but certainly either of these two could easily I think this one, if you really wanted to go for what it would have looked like, I think this is probably nearer the mark. This is probably the more natural look. But I wouldn't rule any of them out. But in terms of, again, if we go, just pick up this blue version here. Let me just go to the size where it goes for the detail. Again, you know, it's just the detail. Every skin fold, every scaling, the rib cage there, and you know, the muscle tone. I mean, these are massive, powerful beasts, but the mottling and the paint application is just absolutely incredible. They don't always do things to this level of awesomeness. You know, some of their other models aren't painted as nicely, especially the smaller ones. But you know, being able to produce models in this kind of size allows them to be able to put that much more detail into the mould itself, which they've done fantastically. And just because they're big doesn't mean they had to do that. They could have cut corners and not put so much detail into them. But even when you look at, as you can see them on the screen now, the paint, how the paint, different colours blend, and the mottle looks so natural. And if you know, even in this position here, I mean, that is just, it just looks so natural. It's almost like you're waiting for it to move because it looks that realistic. And that's artistry. That takes artistic effect. So the people that painted these models really did it extremely well. These aren't mass painted like on a machine. I think you'll find these were individually painted. Because or if it was done by some kind of a machine, then it's a fantastic way of doing it. It would take the artists away from being needed, because it's just done to such a high. I don't know how they're made. That might be interesting to know, how these were actually produced to such a high level. Because I'm blown away by these models and the level of detail in them. You know, again, if you just, you know, it's really quite incredible. Absolutely, all three of them. And I really would be hard pressed. And even here, look how this darker bit of red blends in, and the orangey, beigey colour in the back there, and how it just kind of just disappears again. And these essence of a slight blue on the tail here. I mean, it's just expertly done. Absolutely incredible. And I can't wait to get the Argentinosaurus, which is absolutely massive. It makes these look like dwarfs. But there's only one of those where, you see, now I've looked at the colour versions of them, and they're not as impressive, the colour variations, I don't think, in those as these three are, which is why I've bought all three versions of this, because they're all equally impressive. I've just bought one of the Argentinosaurs. I've looked at the others, and there's only one that really appeals to me. The others are a bit meh. So, you know, that might just be more my opinion, but they've got a purple version which looks a bit odd. I don't think they've done the other two versions as well as they've done these, but they have done one version which I do think looks particularly good. So there you go, there's a look, all three versions. Don't know which one you prefer out of them all. I really can't pick one. I think they're all splendid. Incredible sculpting, and the applications of the paintwork absolutely tremendous. So there you go. If you are thinking of getting one, I think everything Dinosaur actually. I think they only have the blue version left. I'm not sure, but if you are interested, you may have to look for AliExpress if you want some of these, because they are quite difficult to find. These only came out last year, so they've not been out long. And these things are normally hang around for a long time, but I think the quality of these figures, I don't know how many of them they produced. They may have been in very limited numbers, which is why they're quite difficult to find. So if you do want one, then I think AliExpress is probably, and everything Dinosaurs still have the blue version. I don't think they have the other two, but you can always ask. If you want one of the other two, I think you might have to go to AliExpress. So, I would try and grab one, and try eBay, obviously, but try and grab one while you can, if you want one, because I don't think that there's going to be many of these left. They already seem quite difficult to find. The green version was the last one. I think this must have been a return. And that's the only reason, I've managed to pick up the green version. So I feel very, very privileged and very lucky to have all three versions. So there you go. Till the next one.